What's up everybody, welcome back to the Totally Rad channel. It's freezing today and we're going to take a look at an air gun. Massive shout out to Utah Airguns. They sponsored today's video. They set me up with this gun to shoot and play around with. They had me come down to their building, gave me some knowledge, taught me a little bit about the gun, enough to run it, enough to tell you guys some essentials about it. And so far, I'm having a great time. So thank you very much to Utah Airguns for sponsoring today's video. A lot of you I know think the same thing I did when I first saw air guns, and that it's just a pellet gun. Why would I spend so much money on an air gun? But after playing with this, huge shout out to Utah Airguns for setting me up with this. After playing with it, it's not just a normal pellet gun. This thing is actually, it's closer to my 22 than it is a pellet gun, I will say that. The setup they put together for me is this FX Impact M3, and they also threw an element optic on top of it. This thing is, I mean, you can see aesthetically, it's pretty sick. Functionally, it's like a Volquartsen or whatever that 22 company is, that like on Schultz or something, that does all the Olympic 22s. It's that same style of straight pull action, which I think is pretty cool. The most obvious difference here between a real gun and an air gun is you have the big tank here, and then you also have a plenum, which is like, this holds all your air, this holds your air per shot. That way it's much more consistent. You have a bunch of fine tuning, and you can tune these for different barrel sleeves to shoot slugs or drag stabilized projectiles. Air guns are something that's really big in the rest of the world, so obviously a lot of this stuff goes off the metric system. So the barrel is 600 millimeters, it's not in inches. Another really cool thing about air guns is this isn't a firearm. You can ship this straight to your doorstep. You can ship it to other countries. You don't have to deal with the same rules as a firearm, including buying a suppressor. They call it a moderator, but this is basically just a suppressor for air guns, which is pretty sick. As far as the practical application of this gun, I'm in it right now. You can shoot these in city limits. Obviously double check with your city, make sure there's not like a feet per second regulation that makes even an airsoft gun not shootable. But for the most part, you can shoot these in city limits. This is an industrial zone. This is my friend's auto salvage yard, and we're totally fine, totally legal shooting this here, even though it's in city limits. So now we're in my real life use case. I'm gonna show you guys here. This is how I use my air gun. I have chickens in my backyard, and we have mice and rats, and all summer I'm fighting mice and rats. So I trap them right here. I put some food out. I use this as my little backstop for rat trapping, and I've been using a much crappier pellet gun so far. So now, since it's legal in my city where I live, we're gonna set up with a real air gun this summer when the mice and rats come back. And what I'm gonna do right now, show you guys a little grouping. I don't have like a good setup for this. So I just have this white sticker, it's a shipping label. I'm gonna stick on this paper, and I'm already zeroed at this distance because this is what 99% of my shooting will be at. And I'm just gonna try to group a handful of shots here. I'm gonna shoot at that little hole. So this is a 4-inch by 6-inch label. So this hole, you can see next to my finger, is pretty small. I'm shooting from about 20 yards away, and I'll set my phone up here. So I've got my shooting spot set up on our old deck here. This is how I've opted to go because of the way the bottle sits. Instead of using a bipod, I've just done this small bag I got off Amazon, and I'm using my Warhorse Development rear bag. So I'll go set up my phone as the downrange camera, and let's show a group in here at about 20 yards. All right, bullseye right off the bat. Same hole. Same hole. Same hole. that's a 10-shot grouping. Every single hole is touching. Let's go look at it. Here's my 10-shot grouping at about 20 yards, which is impressive. That's next to my finger. And I will say too, this is the very first shot I hit that original hole that I had marked here with the stick. And so the remaining shots I kind of was just aiming where I was pretty sure the hole was at. I know I kind of floated around as the grouping got a little bit bigger, but still 10 shots all touching. Pretty sick. Definitely a mouse and a rat slayer. These are the guys we're protecting right here. This is the reason I got the air gun. Keep the mice and the rats away from these guys' food and away from them so they don't get bit. By guys, I definitely mean girls. They're all hens, but look at them, they're so cute. You don't want the mice and the rats messing with them. Look how cute they are. This one's name is Kimchi. The air gun will help me protect Kimchi's food. If you're someone that has like a varmint problem, if you have rock chucks digging up your property or squirrels or something stealing your feed for your animals, whatever the case is, if you have a varmint problem, this is legal for you to use in many more environments than a real gun, which makes it pretty cool because when it comes to lethal force, this is no slouch. There's really not like there's tons of informational videos out there. I am not educated enough to be that guy. I basically know enough about these guns to run it. So that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna start shooting. I'm not gonna go prone. It's puddles and snow and mud. I'm not gonna prone out. We're gonna see what we can do from a tripod, which for those of you that don't know, shooting off a tripod is much more difficult than going prone. I've also got a Know Your Limits rack out there. It's for my 22, same, basically. So it's plates that get progressively smaller, and the smallest one is the exact same width as a 22 projectile, which this is a 22 cal air gun. So the last target is the exact same width as the projectile we're shooting. And right now it's at 50 meters, so we'll shoot at that. I don't know if you can see it out there. The Know Your Limits rack is in this area past that cardboard box. So we're gonna shoot at it. Now we're getting to the hard targets. Last three. Just nicked it on the left. Got it. Got it. Ooh, just nicked it. Out of ammo. Loaded 5 rounds back into this mag. I've got 5 shots to get this last target hit a little more square than I did earlier. It only took one. You're welcome, America. So one thing that's cool about this setup, and I don't know if it's the same across all of them because this is the only one I have experience with, but they have these rotary mags. They hold, if I remember right, this one's 27 rounds, I think. And when you fill up this tank, it's good for 2 mags. So you get like 50-ish, give or take, shots. And that's keeping the air on this particular setup between 250 and 150 bar. That way you keep the most consistent on your feet per second, standard deviation, etc. Very similar concepts to long range of having a good factory ammunition or a really dialed hand load so that everything stays as consistent as possible. Because accuracy and precision is all about consistency across the board. Barrel, action, powder, casing, everything like that. The more consistent everything is, the more accurate, the more precise you can be. One thing I will say I have learned, at least with this gun where the bottle is in front, is I'm gonna throw a level on it because where you mount it is so much different in height from your optic. It would be pretty easy to cant, which on a precision rifle, in the real gun world makes a big difference. And I imagine on something that's going as slow as these air guns, this one's tuned to about 900 feet per second. It probably matters even more. Dave is up on this gun. Crushing it. Can you guys tell how far away that target is for this thing to be that accurate? All right, these are the hard 3. Two left. Ooh, nicked it. Got it, yeah, here on the last one. Nicked it.
Good enough for me.
Hey, hit's a hit.
It's a hit. Dude, I was so on and the last 2 gave me a little trouble. This thing is so butter. It's like nothing.
Well, the last 2 here, I'm gonna take this mag and walk down there so you guys can see just how small this target is. We're down here and this is the show. So this is the projectile that gun is shooting. And he's gonna hold it up to the last target so you can see. They are the same width. That's what makes this target so hard. It's why it's called a Know Your Limits rack.
I mean, there's my finger. Look at my...
So at 50 yards, you're no problem running this whole rack. The big plate is, what is this, 2 inches maybe? Yeah, and look at, you can see where all the hits are too. It's not like they're crazy off. You can see them all on the plates. That thing is impressive.
Yeah, this is such a sick setup for like backyard, small field.
Yeah, for exactly this. So this is Dave, he owns Utah Pick Apart. This is the raccoon-ridden area. And here, raccoons destroy stuff.
Yeah, they're a pain in the butt.
So maybe we need to do a video when it's a little warmer out because it's freezing today. Come back at night and get some raccoons with some thermal. As you can see, this thing is so much fun. We had it up at my friend's cabin last weekend. They're gated HOA, and we were shooting it off his balcony at some T-posts and some little like 2, maybe 3-inch reflectors that are marking the road that they had on their property.
Oh!
Got it. You can see the hole it punched right through it.
Oh, nice.
This thing's a freaking tack driver, dude. That's like a 1-inch wide T-post at probably 40 or 50 yards.
It is windy right now. Whoa, there it goes.
Knocked the whole thing out.
Nice.
This thing is just a riot. No matter who's shooting it, they're always impressed with how accurate it is. They're always impressed with how quiet it is. And until you shoot one, it's kind of hard to explain how much fun it is. Very similar to a suppressed 22, but without the 4473, without the tax stamp for a suppressor, without the wait period for suppressor, any of that. You get this setup and you're good to go. There is a pretty large upfront cost in the scope of getting into guns, The air guns are pretty pricey up front, but once you have made the investment and gotten everything, you have your pump or your tank or whatever to keep pressure, or your bigger bottle, it's really cheap to shoot. Ammo is super cheap. You don't have to deal with the noise of it or anything like that. It's not a gun. Like I said, this is something that's really big in Europe. Lots of other countries don't have the rights that we do. And here in America, they don't have access to guns. They're not legally allowed to own them. This is, I would say, the next best thing if you're trying to get into that space and you need to do some pest control, some target shooting, etc. I've been super impressed with this. You should drop in the comments what kind of stuff you want to see me do videos on, because I want to shoot this as much as possible because it costs so much less to shoot than any of my other guns. So if you throw out ideas, I'll try to get them done. Again, thank you to Utah Airguns for setting up this video. You guys should go check them out. They're the ones that made this whole video possible. So let me know in the comments what kind of follow-up stuff you would like to see, and I'll try to get it done. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. We'll see you on the next one.